Monkeys or any other living creature are not the ancestors of modern people. Humans are still evolving, but our characteristics aren't always beneficial to the species as a whole. The phrase, survival of the fittest, probably has nothing to do with physical strength and doesn't mean what you believe. 1. Human evolution is intricate. When we oversimplify something, misconceptions, misunderstandings, and falsehoods are likely to develop. Although the vast majority of scientists concur that humans have evolved over time, there are still some misconceptions about this topic in American culture for a number of reasons. One explanation for this is the complexity of evolution, which makes it difficult to derive conclusions that are always accurate. Politicians have in the past lied to the public about evolution in an attempt to forbid the teaching of the theory in public schools. According to Bridget Alex, a professor in human evolutionary biology at Harvard University and editor of the journal, Sapiens, accepting evolution is essential to comprehending the natural world and our position in it as humans. However, not everything you read or hear about evolution in news or soundbites is accurate. 2. Myth. Monkeys were the ancestors of humans. Although humans and monkeys have a shared ancestor who existed about 60 million years ago, they are not related to each other in any way. Although we didn't develop from chimpanzees, we are actually more closely related to chimpanzees than to monkeys. The lineages that ultimately evolved into the monkeys, chimpanzees, and modern humans split off from the common ancestor we shared with monkeys. The same way you might have cousins and share a common set of grandparents, or you might have brothers and share a common set of parents, Alex explained. That is, if we continue to extrapolate from that and go back in time by, say, 7 million, or 8 million years, you'll discover that you share ancestry with extant chimpanzees. 3. Myth. According to Survival of the Fittest, only the strongest people live. How physically fit someone is as frequently correlated with their bodily health and strength. However, in terms of evolution, fitness refers to the likelihood of passing on traits to progeny who will then be more likely to live and produce progeny of their own. For instance, you might state that the marathon runner is more fit if you contrast them with someone who rarely exercises and consumes a poor diet. However, if one person has 10 grandkids while the other has none, the person with the unhealthy habits has a higher evolutionary fitness than the person who leads a healthier lifestyle. It doesn't matter how quickly you can sprint or how much weight you can bench press, according to Alex. Reproductive success is all that evolutionary fitness worries about. 4. Myth. Evolution always results in advancement. The best characteristics that help a species become more developed and improved aren't always the traits that are passed down through generations. Individuals who were merely good enough in their surroundings to reproduce pass on their traits to their offspring. For instance, fossils reveal that early humans had much larger teeth than modern humans do. This is probably because of dietary shifts that occurred 2 million years ago. The size of human teeth today is merely more appropriate for the surroundings, not necessarily better or worse. According to Alex, evolution worries about reproductive success, having offspring that survive and have their own offspring, passing on specific genes or characteristics over and over again. Therefore, if evolution doesn't proceed in a particular path, it simply adapts to the regional and immediate environment. 5. Myth. Human evolution has halted. Humans have been able to alter their environments and extend their lives thanks to advances in technology and science, but this does not mean that evolution has ceased. We'll keep evolving as long as our race keeps producing offspring, said Alex. As an illustration, consider the high-altitude populations of Tibetan Highlanders and Nepali Sherpa. People acclimated to lower altitudes have a harder time getting enough oxygen to their cells because oxygen levels are lower at higher altitudes, which can impair breathing and cognition. However, over thousands of years, Tibetan Highlanders have evolved to generate fewer red blood cells, allowing them to survive in an environment with low oxygen levels. Red blood cells assist in transporting oxygen throughout the body, but an excessive number thickens the blood and slows the process, much like a traffic gridlock. Less red blood cells create a highway that can easily and rapidly transport oxygen throughout the body. 6. Myth. Because organisms will simply adapt, humans cannot damage ecosystems. It is true that no matter what people do to the environment, organisms will continue to adapt to their surroundings. However, people can and do harm environments, altering the course of history. The sad truth is that many of the species of creatures, plants, and other living things that we know today won't make it to the next century, Alex said. Some of the large animals we're accustomed to, like giraffes or elephants, undoubtedly have a finite amount of time left on Earth because of human activities. The most obvious illustration of how humans can harm ecosystems is probably climate change. The disruption of giraffe habitats and the scarcity of food are caused by warming temperatures, which are a result of human activity that has added to climate change. Additionally, because they depend on natural water sources for drinking, bathing, and cooling off, big mammals like elephants and hippos are at risk from droughts brought on by climate change. 7. Myth. The idea of human evolution is unfounded. This misunderstanding results from a mismatch between how scientists and the broader public use the terms theory and fact. The term theory is frequently used by people outside of the scientific community to refer to an educated guess, hunch, or assumption about something that hasn't been proven. This school of thought also holds that a theory can be tested and demonstrated to be true. However, scientifically speaking, that is not how theories and data operate. The existence of the sun as a star or the fact that the human skeleton consists of 206 bones are examples of unarguable observations that have been repeatedly verified as facts. However, ideas are not untested hypotheses. A theory is a well-supported explanation of the data that is used in science. How organisms evolve and adjust to their environments is explained by the idea of evolution. The theory of gravity, which explains why objects fall to the earth, and the cell theory, which explains how cells compose all living things, are examples of additional scientific theories. In order for something to be a theory in science, it has to have overwhelming scientific evidence, said Alex. This evidence is typically the result of decades, if not centuries, of study and experiments. Therefore, if you accept the theory of gravity, you should also accept the theory of evolution, which is backed by a wealth of scientific data.